You've watched domestic cricket so closely and you've given India so many players. If I were to ask you, who are the players you need to watch out for in this edition of the IPL? Give me a sense who, in terms of youngsters, I should watch out for. Hello and welcome to this very special edition of Free Hit here on Gulf News with my very dear friend, former chairman of selectors MSK Prasad, former India international. He has watched cricket as closely as anyone has in his capacity as chairman. So that's where I want to go to today and pick his brains from that standpoint. You've watched domestic cricket so closely and you've given India so many players. If I were to ask you, who are the players you need to watch out for in this edition of the IPL? Give me a sense who, in terms of youngsters, I should watch out for.
Well, if you're looking at youngsters, I will definitely, with the postponement of this proposed T20 World Cup, which was supposed to be held in Australia, it has opened up many other doors. Like, nobody expected that, had it been on schedule, maybe Mahi wouldn't have retired. He would have opened and kept it open. Since this has postponed to the next year, we are fortunately blessed with two back-to-back IPLs. All those players who are in the fringe, it's a wonderful opportunity for them. Apart from the regular established cricketers, I personally feel that some of the guys whom you should watch out for in this edition of IPL will be Prithvi Shaw, to start off with, because he's still not an established player. So much of things that went on in his personal life and his fitness, and there's so many things that has gone through. So it's a great opportunity for him because he's got two IPLs, two wonderful back-to-back IPLs, and there is always a discussion happening whether Shikhar is a certainty in the upcoming World Cup with KL Rahul and Rohit almost like certains. But whether Shikhar is a certainty. So Shikhar also has an opportunity, and like any other youngster, he also has got an opportunity to play next two IPLs and set the tone for himself. Well, I'll still go with these youngsters like Prithvi Shaw and Shubman Gill. Another guys who really made a lot of impact in last year's domestic cricket was Yashasvi Jaiswal. He was phenomenal at a young age of 17 years. Getting a double hundred in a Vijay Hazare is not by any standard. It's not an easy thing. He must be having some potential to achieve such a brilliant feat. I doubt whether anybody else in the world would have achieved that. The another guy whom you will because I have a very high regards for this particular player, Padikkal. Devdutt Padikkal from Karnataka. Yeah. I'll give a small example, Boria. We were watching T20 matches in Baroda in the Mustaq Ali tournament. KL Rahul was batting. So was Devdutt Padikkal was batting. And KL Rahul is somewhere around 11 or 12 runs, and this guy gets his 50 and he goes out. The whole world knows what KL Rahul is, what kind of a T20 player that he is. But, someone like a youngster coming and overshadowing him and, moving past beyond him is something we should look up to, because he's also an additional. Why I'm clearly specifically mentioning about Devdutt Padikkal is that he's also left-hander. He's tall guy, youngster who is just 19-20 years. So one more year of last year he made a big impact. If he can make another big impact in the upcoming two IPLs, he will definitely be a hot contender.
This is why you are special. I mean, I watched Devdutt Padikkal and I found him extremely exciting. I watched him in KPL first. I watched him in India under 19 when he smashed at the top of the order. He's a supremely exciting prospect. You've watched MS Dhoni. You have watched him captain. You have watched him very closely. No Suresh Raina, no Harbhajan Singh, 13 COVID cases, retirement. How will MS Dhoni take to this IPL? What do you expect of him?
Well, every adversity always throws a hero out of the situations. Someone like Kapil Dev at 17 for 5. I don't even think even 1% of the people would have expected that he'll go on to get 175 at that situation. And he's not only set the tone for Indian team, but he has set the tone for Indian cricket history in the shorter formats. This is a good, wonderful opportunities for the next level guys. Especially there's a guy called Rituraj Gaikwad. He's a phenomenal player. I'll give a small example because we picked him for India A tours. We had a one-day series against Sri Lanka A. He got a 170 or 180. and he finished the game. And it was 300 plus. He just finished the game in hardly 40 overs. So we were chasing 330, hardly 40 overs. That is the kind of potential this kid possesses. The absence of superstars it's a boon for the youngsters to make a mark for themselves and set the tone for their careers. I know, knowing what Dhoni has made superstars out of youngsters, whether it is R. Ashwin or a Jadeja or Suresh Raina. They were just Chahar or they were just youngsters. The youngsters with, yes, definitely some potential, but he actually molded them and made them superstars. I have not even 1% doubt that the next level guys will be the biggest gainers out of the pulling out of these two senior guys.
If I ask you about Virat, how important is this? I mean, 970 runs in that edition, multiple hundreds, but not a IPL trophy to show for. Australia series coming. If he wins the IPL, he will go in that incredible mindset to be father. Everything is happening for that man. He just needs that one big break of one tournament as leader. How important is this?
Virat as a captain for Indian team, and I mean, he's definitely did extremely well in test formats and one-day formats. There's always been a comparison between Virat and Rohit and MSD, which is pretty natural. And it is pretty natural when someone can give you three or four IPL and championships. So you'll definitely have to look up to someone, some other guy. Things keeps evolving with time. Time doesn't wait for anybody. Yes, it's pretty long time. 8 to 10 years is a pretty long time not to win the IPL championship for a team like RCB. Here there is an advantage for Virat because there are many instances where RCB did extremely well with their bat. They got 200, 230, 240 runs. They still went on to lose the game because of the placid wicket that Bangalore offers. Now that they are out of those 7 matches, every time they step into their home, of course the home crowd always supports them more than the host. It's the visitors who actually enjoy playing well in Bangalore. So now there are absolutely no complaints on that aspect. It's a neutral venue, and it's a love all and play for everybody on a different surface. So it's a good opportunity. I think for Virat, I feel that this is the best thing that happened for him. The kind of mental state that he is in, and perfect mental state. We were Boria, I don't know whether you remember, we were also discussing about the how much his body has gone through in the last couple of years. And this is the best break I think Virat would have prayed for. It has come in a pandemic form, but I think he will be in the best possible mental state. Nothing like winning an IPL championship and getting into the Australia tour.
If I take you to Australia, I mean, do you think India should go in with about 22, 23 players, and somebody like a Shreyas Iyer will also look at the IPL? He's a certainty at number 4 now, but to also make the test team, to push himself a little bit more in the white ball format. Somebody like a KL Rahul already there as wicketkeeper, wanting to make a test comeback. Australia, huge tour coming. Saurav Ganguly tells me milestone series. How should these players treat the IPL, with a view on Australia?
IPL will definitely test their fitness levels, and maybe they might be rusty that they've not been playing cricket for quite some time. But 60 days with so many matches, with 14 matches each for each team is good enough opportunities to set themselves and get into a perfect form. That's why I say that since we are going from straight from Dubai to Bangalore. I mean Dubai to Australia. So it's a wonderful opportunity for all these fringe players to establish themselves. You never know this. Like we've already discussed, that you never know, someone like Padikkal or someone like Prithvi Shaw or Yashasvi Jaiswal can stake their claims with their consistent performances.
Someone like a Navdeep Saini, MSK, somebody you've unearthed.
We were just talking about batsmen. So when it comes to bowlers, Navdeep Saini or a Deepak Chahar or a Khalil or a Prasidh Krishna or a Ishan Porel, I think these are the guys whom you can look at into the in this edition of IPL because I'm still not sure if Bhuvi and Bumrah certainty and Hardik as your all-rounder. So if you pick one more seamer, it will be somewhere between Saini or Deepak or Khalil or Prasidh or Porel or even Mohammad Shami also. Had it been as per the original schedule, Shami would have been a certainty. But with 2 IPLs coming up, with still 1 more year older for Mohammad Shami, whether he is a certainty for the next T20 World Cup is a question.
We've spoken about bowlers and batsmen. We've spoken about fast bowlers rather. Spin. What is your thought on spin? Will Dubai be very conducive? How important will spin be in this edition? I was having a chat with Shreya Iyer. He said the wickets in the practice arena are slow and low. Will, for example, Delhi, Ashwin, Sandeep Lamichhane, who's had a great CPL, will spinners have a major role to play? And how do you look at spin?
Definitely, there's absolutely no two ways about it. If you see the way the series were played by Pakistan in Dubai, and it's like Yasir Shah, and majority of the time it was their spinners who actually dominated the show. Whenever Pakistan went on to win any series, it was spinners who played the key role. More importantly, with so much of resources available, like if you actually think that if I have to name the list of spinners like Jadeja, Chahal, Kuldeep, Washington Sundar, K. Gautam, Rahul Chahar, Ashwin, Ravi Bisnoy, Abhishek. There's so many. The list is on and on and on. That's why I'm saying that it's a wonderful opportunity for them, all these people, because they have got two wonderful platforms to establish themselves. Because if you see last year IPL, Rahul Chahar was phenomenal. Everybody started appreciating. They were even saying that this kid has to be groomed into the other formats also. Like the revolutions that he offers to the ball, and the speed with which ball and with the spin that he imparts, he gets the spin out of the pitches. I think they were rating him pretty high. So if he's properly groomed, he's also one of those guys who will give a run for their money, even for a guy like Chahal established. It's a wonderful competition, healthy competition that's going on between the spinners.
After quite a few years, MSK Prasad will watch the IPL without the burden of chairman of selectors. So how are you going to watch this year's IPL? You tell me that.
Last 4.5 years has been a pretty tough time. IPL is the only time where we used to actually sit in the house and watch. In 10 months in a year, we used to travel, and 2 months we used to sit and watch with the family. So this edition also will be no different from that. Only thing that you might not see a lot of crowds, or you may not get an opportunity to take your family to Hyderabad and show them some matches of and because the Hyderabad was very close to my hometown, so we used to go as a family and watch few matches. That's one thing we will be missing. But having said that, I think credit should definitely go to BCCI and also our governing council, who made has taken so much of pain in going ahead with this edition of IPL. It's not easy. There's so many theories going on that why did the people go ahead with the IPL? Why not a domestic cricket? There's so much of pros and cons to it. The big heads of BCCI have put their minds together and they went on, and I wholeheartedly appreciate that effort.
Thank you very, very much for joining me once again on Free Hit. I will pick your brains as time progresses, as the tournament progresses, because you are one of those people who will always give me interesting insights into Indian cricket going forward. Thank you very, very much for joining.
One more point. I think we were talking about fast bowlers. One person whom I'll definitely mention here is Prasidh Krishna. He's also one of those guys who, because one important point I'd like to bring here is Rohit Sharma. Once when we were discussing, Rohit Sharma, he told me that, after a long time, I've seen some Indian fast bowler hitting my gloves. So that speaks it all. It speaks it all about.
Thank you so much, MSK. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. My pleasure, Proy.